Okay, welcome to the Roth IRA, the cool tool of retirement savings webinar today. My name is Corey Cox. I'm part of the education team here at URS, and I have here with me Robert Goodick, one of our retirement planning advisors, who will be presenting to us. I just wanted to start out with a few housekeeping items before we begin, so you understand what we have here available to you in participation in the webinar. We would absolutely love your participation throughout this presentation today. We have a Q&A section on the right-hand side of your screen where you can ask questions throughout the presentation. We have some individuals here with us that can answer your questions. In addition, throughout the webinar, we have poll questions that we'll be asking, and we ask for your participation on those poll questions. It helps us know that you're paying attention, helps us know that you understand the concepts that are being taught, and if we need to clarify anything, we can do that. In addition, on the bottom right-hand side of your screen, you will see some files there that pertain to this webinar. They're wonderful resources that you can download to help supplement the materials that we'll be going over today, and I believe Robert will also be referring to some of those materials throughout the presentation as well. With that being said, let me go ahead and introduce you to Robert Goodick. He has been with URS for just over 2.5 years now, and has been dealing with the financial industry for over 20 years. He's a great guy. I hope you can feel his energy throughout the presentation today. He's got a lot of excitement and energy that goes along with his presenting. So with that being said, Robert, let me go ahead and turn the time over to you.
Fantastic. Well, good morning, everyone, or good afternoon. We're so glad you're here. This is our first webinar dedicated to just one of our investment plans here, the Roth IRA. And I think it's the cool tool, and hopefully after today you will too, and be inspired at the end to either engage and open up a Roth IRA or increase your contributions and just really, dedicate yourself more towards that, end retirement goal there. And by the end of today, you'll see that the Roth IRA is a key component of that. So first of all, I just want to thank Corey. He is truly the backbone of all these webinars. He puts everything together and gets all the housekeeping done for us so we can just come in and do what we do. So let's go ahead and jump in. Corey, did you want to start with that first poll question, please? If everyone can take a moment and answer that, and then we'll jump right in there. Fantastic. All right. Well, looking good. Well, let's just go ahead and jump in. I'm going to go over to our first slide here. We got that first poll question tallying up there, which looks really nice there. Corey, can we move that up a little bit? Okay, good. All right, so a little history there, right? This Roth IRA thing, it's been around for about 20 years, right? It was established by the Taxpayer Relief Act of 1997. It's named after Senator William Roth of Delaware, and it really is a cool tool, right? 20 years, it's having its 20-year anniversary, and I am a self-proclaimed Roth IRA nerd, so by the end of this year, Corey, I think I'm going to have a cupcake with the candle because it's really a neat tool. So anyway, happy birthday to the Roth IRA, 20 years old now. So the first slide here I want to talk to you about are these 4 plans that we have access to here at URS, and you all have access to as members. Now, I want you to look at these, and this is in the brochure that's listed in your documents down there, and this is the investment options brochure. These are produced and published every January. These are on our website under the publications tab. So if you're not in a place where you can download that, just know you can go to urs.org and download these forms and these publications here. So at URS, we offer these 4 plans. Now, the big question is does your employer use all 4 of these plans? Some of the larger agencies do, even some of the smaller agencies use all 4 plans, but that is up to the employer to decide which ones they want to use, right? What we want you all to understand that every URS member has access to the traditional and the Roth IRA, regardless of whether or not your employer uses these through payroll deduction, right? So that's a key thing to remember here. Now, what I want to talk about real quick here is that today we're not going to go into really not doing a deep dive on these 4 plans. We have a webinar scheduled on Tuesday, October 17th at noon, and it's called the Fantastic Four, where my coworker Dawn is going to be doing a really nice deep dive on all 4 of these plans, all of these little nuances, and how each of these can benefit you. What I want you to understand, though, that each of these 4 plans here, I want you to look at these. These are all just sections of our tax code. I want you to look at these as vehicles that you can drive to retirement, right? You can have one or you can have all 4 of these in your retirement garage, right? The first 2, right? The 401k and that 457 plan up at the top there, you'll see that little blue tab and it says lower your tax bill now. Those 2 plans are really designed for those who want to legally hide money from the IRS, right? For example, if you make $40,000 a year and you put $2,500 into your 401k and then you put $2,500 into your 457, you've just legally hid $5,000 from the IRS. So your adjusted gross income is now $35,000, right? So we refer to those 2 plans, right? And again, the only way to get money into those 2 plans are through payroll deduction. There's no personal deposits, but we refer to those 2 plans as tax deductible and tax deferred. So you get your tax break today. You're deferring taxes till later on in retirement when you touch it. All right. Now I want to focus your energy over there to the right, where it says the Roth IRA. And at the top there, you'll see that little maroon tab where it says tax-free growth, right? Out of these 4 vehicles here, this one here is truly the coolest because here's how it works. Here's the big benefit, right? The Roth IRA money, the money that you put in, is taxed at today's tax rate, right? And in life, there's some certainties, right? You know, death and taxes, everyone always says that, but we know what tax bracket, what our tax rate is today. That we know for certain. But for those of us with 10, 15, maybe 20 plus years away until retirement, right? What we don't know is what is the tax rate? What is the tax code? What are all those different things going to look like in the future? In the Roth IRA, what we know for certain is that the money that goes in today is taxed, right? It is tax going in at your tax rate today, right? Which is really good if you're in a lower tax bracket, right? So you'll pay less in taxes, but your money's taxed at today's rate. And going forward at age 59 and a half, right? As long as the account has been open for 5 years, right? That money in all of the money, so that the money that you put in and all the money that it earns comes out 100% tax free. So that's where we get that tax free growth. So we want everyone to understand that, because if you look at these 4 vehicles, right, the 401k, the 457, the traditional, those are going to be taxed at retirement, whatever tax bracket you're in. Social Security, that's going to be taxable, right? If you're a tier 1 pension member or a tier 2 hybrid pension member, those pensions are going to be taxable as well. So I ask you all, wouldn't it be cool to have a vehicle in your retirement garage where you know for certain, whether it be 10, 15, 20, 30 years in the future, that that money's going to come out tax-free? So that's pretty neat. All right. So let's dig a little bit deeper into the Roth here, right? Corey, do we have another question? Got that. Okay. So if everyone can take a moment, answer that polling question. Okay. Fantastic. Okay, so let's continue on here, right? So when does savings in a Roth IRA make the most sense, right? When I'm in a high tax bracket now or in a lower tax bracket? Obviously the lower tax bracket, right? Because again, that money, right? Typically as we move through our careers, our incomes trend up, right? At the end, you know, if we have children, they're out of the house, we lose some of those deductions. If we're paying off the house, we lose that interest deduction there, any student loan interest, things like that. So typically later on in life, we may find ourselves in a higher income tax bracket, and that really makes the 401k and the 457 a little more appealing there. All right. So let's go into some really, unique things, what we feel makes the Roth IRA the cool tool of retirement savings there. So again, we've already discussed this. You get that tax break later on, right? You're taxed at your rate today. You take that money out at 59 and a half. Again, that account has to be open for at least 5 years. Now, here's something that's truly unique about the Roth IRA, right? And this is one thing that a lot of people miss and they overlook that, is that we look at this as a dual purpose type of savings vehicle, right? One of the cool tool features here. The money that you put into the Roth IRA, right? It's tax going in. So if you need this money for any reason at any time, right? Hopefully it's for emergencies because we want to put this money away with the intention that we're going to use it for retirement. But life has a tendency to throw some curveballs sometimes. So if you've exhausted your emergency funds, which you should have separate outside, they say standard 3 to 6 months worth of cash savings for all the basic expenses. And if that's not enough there, you can go into your Roth IRA and take out the money that you've deposited, right? So we want to be careful just to take out the money that we've deposited. So let's just say we've been participating in a Roth IRA for a few years, and let's just say you put in $5,000 and the account value is $5,500, right? You can call URS at any time and say, you know what, I've had a curveball, whatever reason. You don't even have to give us a reason. You can just say, I need $2,500, right? Well, you put in 5,000, you can take out that 2,500. That money was already taxed. What they're going to ask you is, hey, would you like to come pick up the check? It'll be ready in 7 to 10 business days, or would you like us to mail it to your house? So it's a great backup to an emergency fund. So we really like to refer to that as this dual purpose fund there, which is really a unique feature. All right. Some other features here about the Roth IRA is that you are never forced to withdraw your money. That's a big thing that people forget about, right? When you look at the 401k, the 457, the traditional other accounts as well that are available out there in the marketplace, at age 70 and a half, you are required to take money out. And they call that a required minimum distribution. With the Roth IRA, you are never forced to take your money out. And if you're working, right, regardless of what age you are, right, you can continue to contribute. If you're still working in your 70s and 80s and you want to put money away, you're free to do that as well. You just have to have earned income. Early on, when I was getting started in the financial services industry, I was really just going gangbusters on getting people and just, preaching about all the wonderful benefits of the Roth IRA. And my youngest client at that time was an 11-year-old paper boy. So how cool is that to have an 11-year-old paper boy with the Roth IRA, right? He was bragging to all his friends he had a portfolio. So now the next cool thing is tax-free inheritance, right? So for those of you with the Roth IRA, you pass away, right? This money can be left to spouse, obviously, kids, grandkids, church, charity. Whoever inherits the money, they get that tax-free benefit as well, right? However, right, anyone other than a spouse, right, if they inherit that Roth IRA, they're probably going to be required to take out, there's a minimum distribution. So that's something you want to keep in mind there. If you leave this to a non-spouse beneficiary, they're going to be required to take some money out by December 31st of the year that you pass away. All right. But again, some nice features there about never being forced to withdraw the money and having that earned income to contribute there. All right. So as we move on here, going to my next slide. Okay, withdrawals, right? So for those of you, right, who've looked at some of our literature there, you can see where you can take out some of the earnings before age 59 and a half. Typically that is taboo, right? If you touch money out of your Roth IRA prior to age 59 and a half, you're going to pay taxes and a 10% penalty, right? For those of you, right, who are looking at, hey, I'm going to be a first-time home buyer here, or if you have any of these other qualifying events here, education expenses, health premiums, disability, medical expenses. You'll pay taxes if you touch the growth, but you'll avoid that 10% penalty. So that's a neat little feature there built into the Roth IRA. So again, all of your deposits, the money that's been taxed going in, available at any time for any reason. If you touch it before age 59 and a half, right, you can avoid that 10% penalty if it's used for those. And all of this information is listed on page 1 and page 2 there of that IRA guidebook. I cannot stress the importance of downloading that book and reading that cover to cover. It's probably 8 pages long, and it's just a wealth of information there. Okay. So again, that's a neat little way to understand that, hey, this money is available to me before age 59 and a half, and that's the earnings portion. All right. So let's talk about getting going. All right. So, hey, I want to put some money into a Roth IRA. Well, what am I looking at here? All right. The contribution limits for 2017, and these were the same last year too. Hopefully, we haven't heard anything yet, but hopefully they increase these limits. But for 2017, if you're under age 50, the maximum amount you can put away is $5,500. If you're over 50, the IRS gives us a $1,000 catch-up provision. So if you're 50 and over, they give you that extra $1,000 and you can put away $6,500, right? So if you're going to max that out, right, for the 5,500, you're looking at around $458. The 50 and over group, maxing that out, it's about $541 there. All right. And so if look at the bottom there where you'll see the two little asterisks down there at the bottom. It says you can make personal contributions to an IRA anytime from January 1st of the current year until the tax filing deadline of the following year. So let me give you an example. So let's just say you've been putting in a couple of $100 a pay period and you realize, you know what, if I put in another $1,000, I can max out my Roth IRA. You have up until the tax filing date in 2018 to put money away for 2017. We have a lot of members who do that. So keep that on your radar there, because with the 401k and the 457 plans, those plans, that money has to be in those accounts by the end of the calendar year. With the IRAs, you can put money up into those up into the tax filing deadline there. All right. One thing we want you to understand too is that with these IRAs, these are the limits, whether you have one Roth IRA or whether you have 10 Roth IRAs or any combination of Roth and traditional IRAs. So the max you can put away in total with all of your IRAs under 50, 5,500, over 50, 6,500. Okay. Next little polling question here. True or false? I can contribute to more than one IRA. Awesome. All right, guys. Good job. Really good job. Thank you for participating. Now, for those folks who are doing well in their careers and they're putting some money away and their incomes are trending upwards, right? There are some income limits in participating with the Roth IRA, right? So if you're single and you're getting in that 115 to 120 income range, realize that you can put money into your Roth IRA still, but we have a phase out period and a phase out amount. So if you're earning over 118,000, you can still put money away, but it's not going to be able to be that maximum 5,500, right? So there's that phase out window that goes from 118 to $133,000, right, for the single tax filer, right? And if you're married filing jointly, it's increased up to from 186,000 through 196,000. So those are the phase out limits. So we always want you, if you're kind of coming on the cusp of these, at URS, we do not give any tax advice here. We want everyone to seek the advice of a tax professional. So please keep that on your radar. It's a good problem to have. However, we can't advise you on that, but we want you to be able to participate in these. And if you look at the little footnote in the bottom, a lot of people miss this, and this is something that we share a lot in our one-on-one sessions, is that if you are coming up on the cusp of entering this phase out period, you can put money into a 401k or a 457 plan, right? Legally hide that money from your gross income, hide that money from the IRS, and that's going to reduce, right, your income, and that can open up that window for you to fully fund that Roth IRA. So let's look at a single member making 118,000. If that member puts in 10,000 into their 401k plan, right now their adjusted gross income is what? 118 or 108,000, because they peeled 10 right off the top. They've hid that. That's reduced them down. Can they fully fund their Roth IRA? Absolutely. So realize that by contributing to those 401k, 457 plans, that's going to open up that window for you to participate in the Roth IRA. So pretty neat feature there. All right, so let's get going. Now let's talk about, hey, how do I open up a Roth IRA? I see that some of you already have one. For those of you that don't, here's how we do it. I know we have some administrators on the webinar today, and this is a way you can advise your employees as well. So you can just go to urs.org, and up there at the top right, you'll see our login tab, right? If you've never created an account, you'll just click create an account. It's going to give you some prompts, put in some information, and select a password, and you're in, you're open, you're ready to go. You can open up that Roth IRA. Now here, back in March, this is what our home screen looks like. So for those of you who haven't been online recently, this is what our new homepage looks like. And I just want to direct some things to your attention here. So that new members section, for those of our people on the webinar today who are within their first year of eligibility with their URS member agency, we'd like you to spend some time on this new member section. For those of you who've been around for a little while, longer than that 1 year, the member section is really good. There's tons of information. We just ask that if you're spending time on the website, you're not driving a car, you're not operating any heavy machinery or baking a souffle because you're going to get so engrossed in all the valuable resources there. We have a lot of videos from Mike, who's on our team. He's our retirement guru. We have other webinars that are archived in here as well. So please make sure that you give yourself plenty of time. A lot of videos there to expand your knowledge base on what you have access to here at URS. All right, so now we've accessed our account. And for most of us, for those members who are beyond their first year, this is going to be the first landing page that you see. For those of you who are brand new hires with your URS member agency, there's going to be a tier 2 slide there that's going to ask you, have you made an election yet? Or if you've made an election, do you want to stay with that one or would you like to change? This will what you'll see after that. So this will be your basic landing page, and you'll see what plans you have access to. So let's just say your member agency uses all 4 of our plans. Well, they're all going to be listed right there under the savings plans. If they do not participate that with payroll deduction, it's not going to be listed there. And those are primarily with the 401 and the 457 plans. All right. So you'll see the Roth IRA. So if it's blue, right, you're not enrolled yet, we're going to click enroll. You see that circled there. So you can click on enroll, and then over here to the next slide, you'll see how much would you like to contribute, right? So for those of you where your member agency is set up to participate in the Roth IRA through payroll deduction, you can pick a specific dollar amount. You can say, hey, I want to open it up. I don't have a lot of money right now. I'm paying off some student loan debt, or I want to pay off this car loan, but I want to get this Roth IRA going. I want to get that 5-year meter going quickly here. So you can start with as little as $5 a pay period. What I want you to remember, though, that this is a pay period deduction from your paycheck. So if you're getting paid 26 pay periods bi-weekly, right, be aware of that. We don't want anyone to overfund, because the penalty for any overfunded amount is 50% of the overfunded amount, right? So they want us to save, but don't save too much there, all righty? So with that being said, so you can put in that specific dollar amount. So just keep your payroll pay cycles in mind there. If for some reason your member agency does not participate in payroll deduction there, you'll be prompted to fill out that IRA deposit authorization form. For those of you where your member agency does not allow payroll deduction, the minimum deposit is $100 per deposit. Okay, so you can mail in that check, you can drop it off, whatever you want to do there, but that's the way to get money in if you're not allowed to do that with payroll deduction there. Okay, so let's kind of move on and go over to the next slide there. So that's getting the money in. So we've opened up the Roth IRA. That's the vehicle. Now we said how much we're going to put in to it. And again, do what you can, right? Now we have to say, where do we want this money to go? There's a big misconception out there that the vehicles, right, the 401, the 457, the Roth, the traditional, that they earn the money. And those vehicles don't earn the money. It's the gas, right, that we put into the vehicles. I'll have members say, geez, you know what? My 401k last year didn't do that well, but my Roth IRA was amazing. And I remind them that, well, you know what, it was probably the investments that you had in your 401k, not that didn't perform as well as the investments in your Roth IRA that performed well. So for you guys, when you're opening your Roth, and for those of you who already have one open, we want to make sure we're invested in the right investment vehicles that we have access to here. So the default when you log in is going to be a target date fund closest to your 65th birthday. That's a default. That's an industry standard. That's one way to look at it. You can also pick a target date fund that is closest to the year when you feel like you're going to use the money. So you may tell yourself, hey, you know what? I'm going to be 60 years of age in 2045, but I don't plan on using this money till beyond 65. So instead of that 2040 fund, I'm going to use the 2045 fund, right? So that's one way to do it there, all right? To add those other funds down here at the bottom, you'll see the little plus signs. You can add other target date funds or other core funds, right? So another way, and the third method, which I feel is probably the most scientific method to choose the best target date fund for you, is as you're logged into your account under the education section there, and 5 down there, you'll see the investor profile tab. We want you to click on that and begin this investor profile questionnaire. And it's going to ask you 9 questions, and several of them are based around behavioral finance questions. And these questions will ask you things such as, the market takes a rapid drop within a week. Does that make you nervous, right? That type of thing. And it's agree, disagree, no feelings either way. Another question, for example, would be, you go to a seminar, you go to a presentation, and the speaker says this investment could earn as much as 25%, but they tell you could also learn or lose as much as 10. Do you take that swing in volatility, or is it option B, hey, take the guaranteed 5%? So how you answer those types of questions, right? It kind of allows us to take your temperature. How do you feel about the markets? And it's going to tell us and you what type of investor you are, right? So John, Mary member, you're conservative, you're aggressive, you're moderately conservative. And based on how you answer those questions and based on your score there, what type of investor you are, and then your age, it's going to recommend a target date fund for you. So we highly recommend that you do that. Those are archived down there at the bottom on the main screen. So again, those are the 3 ways to pick that target date fund. What I'd also like to do now is just kind of let everybody know that on Thursday, October 17th, we're doing, we got that? Okay, fantastic, Corey. Thank you. Yep. There's going to be the 19th doing that Cooking with Mikey webinar at noon. And Michael Coakley on our team is going to be doing a wonderful presentation talking about the core 8 investment options that you have and then all of the different target date funds. So keep that in mind there. For those of you who are just looking to get going, open this up and start contributing right away to a Roth IRA. Select that, just go with that target date fund there, that default target date fund. And again, we advise all members, please engage in all of the presentations and all the webinars. When your HR team sends out a memo and says, hey, you know what, our representative from URS is going to be here doing this presentation, just go. And if your spouse is available, if you have a spouse, bring them too. We just know for a fact that members who are engaged in their benefits, they understand them more, it raises their confidence, which increases participation, and they're making good decisions there. Okay. So moving on now, Roth IRA conversions, right? What's that? Okay. So, we have another polling question. Sorry there. Okay, Corey. So the IRS allows you to take money out of a 401k and put it into a Roth IRA. Is that true or false? Ooh, kind of a mixed bag of answers, right? About 50-50 right now, right? Well, the answer is true, but there's some contingencies there as well. So we kind of set you up there. We asked you the question before we gave you the meat of the information, but again, it's always good to kind of take everyone's temperature here with these webinars. So yes, you can convert a 401k and those tax deferred savings plans to a Roth IRA. And these are all listed in the IRA guidebook there on page 1. And there's a whole section in that book, a whole page actually dedicated, it's page 7, that goes over just conversions alone. So if you have, let's just say you have money from a previous employer, right? A 401k with $3,000 in it, and you don't want to bring it over to URS as a 401k. Could you convert that from a 401k over to a Roth IRA? Well, the answer is yes, right? You would just complete the form there that's listed in your materials, and it's the transfer money to URS, or the savings plans transfer to URS, and you would just tell us that the money is currently in a 401k and we want that to go to a Roth IRA. What we want you to understand, though, is that is going to be taxed, right? That Roth IRA money was never taxed going in. So to convert that to a Roth and to get all that tax-free growth, you're going to pay taxes on the 401k money with whatever tax rate you're currently in. So that's where you want to consult with that tax professional to see if that's going to make sense for you, right? But if you do that, realize you'll just pay taxes and you'll settle. There'll be forms sent to you, tax forms, and you want to get those to your tax preparer when you file. But realize, yes, it can be done. And that way, that money is now in your Roth IRA, right? Those conversions, right? Those are triggers a new 5-year kind of a window there before you can really capitalize on that. But what a great way to kind of jumpstart a Roth IRA if you have a couple of older 401k plans lingering out there and you really want to push for a Roth. Okay, so you may be subject to distribution restrictions and taxes, right? The taxes are pretty much indefinite when you convert, but the distribution restrictions are you would have to be, right, separated from that previous employer. So let's just say you are actively employed and you're under age 59 and a half. So 59 and a half, yes, you can convert. If you're under 59 and a half and you want to do a Roth conversion from, let's just say, your URS 401k to your URS Roth IRA, you'd have to either be retired or separated employment. Okay. So just kind of keep that in mind there. Any questions at any time on conversions, you're more than welcome to call our savings plans department. We have a wonderful team up there that answers calls all day. Again, we're here to serve members all day long. So please take advantage of that advice there. But yes, it can be done. So some things to consider, right, as we move forward in this wonderful world of Roth IRAs, right? 20 plus years, moving into the future here, that the income and contribution limits may change. And I'm hoping they increase these contribution limits. I'm really hoping for that. So keep your eye on that. In January, we'll know as we publish our new materials there. So those can change, and we want you to try and focus on putting away as much as you possibly can, right? You can transfer other Roth IRAs to URS, right? During our one-on-one sessions that I'll talk about here in a moment, I've advised hundreds of members who have outside accounts and they say, hey, I have a Roth IRA with this custodian XYZ Investments. Can I move that over to URS and take advantage of no commissions and low fees? Absolutely, you can. That is a one-page form. You can do that there, and that's the savings plans transfer to URS. What we want every member to know, again, is that we're here to serve you. We don't sell anything, and that URS, we're a nonprofit trust. We don't earn any commissions, and the fees are really, really low. So take advantage of that. So if that's you, if you have an outside Roth, yes, you can bring that over, and that applies to the other plans as well. Conversions from other savings plans are allowed. Again, those are listed on page 1 of the IRA guidebook there. And then for any other additional information, again, all these publications here are listed at urs.org. All right. So here, for those of you who say, you know what, this sounds great, it's have a Roth and, I'm a tier 1 member or a tier 2 member, and I've been working several years and I just want to see what it's going to look like in the future, right? Put me in a time machine and let me see what the next 15 or 20 years looks like. You can do that, right? A couple of years ago here at URS, we started our one-on-one advising sessions, and we refer to these as these individual retirement planning sessions, these one-on-one sessions. You can meet with an advisor, right? We're a team of 10, and we're excited about these sessions. This program has been around now for 2.5 years, and we've done over 6,000 of these sessions. So they look at, what we do is we sit down with you and we look at where you are in terms of that retirement readiness. Where do you want to be, right? How are you going to get there? If you're a tier 2 member, which plan should you choose? Does a Roth IRA make sense for me where I am right now with my earnings? Do I need to continue to take advantage of the hiding money legally with the 401k and the 457? Those types of questions could be answered there. But typically what we do during these sessions, we look at your pension, your savings, your Social Security, put all that into a really nice detailed Excel spreadsheet, and that tells us what percentage of your income you're on track to replace in retirement. Again, that's free of charge for all URS members. Okay, how do you register for one of those? So you're logged into your URS account. In the top right up there, you'll see the education tab. So you would click on that education tab right up there, top right, and then it's going to tell you here, 4 down, you'll see the individual retirement planning sessions. And once you click on that, it's going to open up all of our locations. We do sessions Monday through Friday at our downtown Salt Lake office, right? We're located at 540 East, 200 South, downtown Salt Lake. But we're doing these sessions all throughout the state of Utah. And any member is free to go to any one of those sessions that are posted online. So if it is at Unified Fire, if it is at Workers' Compensation Fund, Summit County, if we're there and it's posted online, you guys are free to go. So please take advantage of that because, again, it's just a nice way to look at your whole retirement picture and where you're going to be in the future. All right. So with that being said, I want to jump back here real quick too, Corey. Is while you're logged into your account, a couple of things we want you to do is that if you haven't done this already, or if you're going to open up your Roth IRA, we want to make sure that you're designating your beneficiary. So if you open up that Roth IRA, we want you to go to the beneficiaries tab, and if your beneficiaries are the same for all of your plans, we want you to, it's a simple little step. You can copy that to all plans, or you can just go in there and list them individually if you'd like to leave this Roth IRA money to someone else if you pass away. But please update your beneficiaries, and we'd like you to do that annually. And then also up there at the top, you'll see your member profile. While you're in there, if you could please just make sure all that information is current, your phone number, your email address, all that other good stuff, that would be very helpful there. So Corey, I think that's all I have today. I appreciate your time. I'm going to send it back to Corey now to wrap up. But thank you so much, everyone. And it was a pleasure speaking with you today.
Thank you, Robert. Appreciate the wonderful presentation. I hope this was beneficial for all of you. Just so you're aware, you will be getting an email notification thanking you for your participation in this webinar today. In that email will include a survey. We do ask you to fill that survey out. It helps us know whether or not we're doing a good job and whether or not this was productive for you as well. Also, just want to plug the webinars that Robert mentioned. On October 17th and on October 19th, we will be holding a couple of additional webinars related to our retirement savings plans and the investment options. Encourage you to go onto our website under the Education tab at urs.org, and you can register for one of those sessions. With that being said, thank you so much for your participation. We'll stick on online for a couple of minutes, answer any additional questions you might have, and other than that, have a wonderful day. Thank you.